Have you ever wondered how some of the biggest companies in the world start? Most of us think that it's some eureka moment where the founder has an idea and suddenly there's a billion-dollar company. We think of them as overnight successes, but what we don't see are the sleepless nights, the empty bank accounts, and the moments where all hope was lost. Nike is a multi-billion-dollar company, but it wasn't always that way. It started with one man's crazy idea. Phil Knight, the co-founder of Nike, had this crazy idea that he could import shoes into the US from Japan and create a new brand of running shoes. Keep in mind, when Nike started, running wasn't a common thing like it is today. Back then, only athletes would run, and normal people wouldn't even consider running as something that could be good for them. But even back then, Phil Knight saw the future, and more than that, he had a vision for the future. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about the story of Phil Knight and how he created Nike, and I will show you this from his autobiography Shoedog. I'm going to show you what you can learn from Phil Knight and how you can apply it to your life. Now this is a fascinating book because it details all of Nike's adventures from the start until the very recent past. This is a unique look inside the life of a billionaire and the mindset he had that helped him create such a large brand. Now Phil Knight wasn't especially gifted as a child. In fact, he was cut from his school's baseball team, and that left a really bad scar on him. He didn't like the fact that he was rejected from his school team. He always felt like he didn't know where he fit in until he started running. He used to participate in track and field events, and even though he performed well, again, he wasn't the best. In fact, in his own words, Phil didn't have a lot going for him. In fact, he hadn't even had a girlfriend up until the age of 24. And all of this left a deep mark inside him. He needed to prove something to the world. He had a huge chip on his shoulder, and that became his strength. So remember, no matter what happens in life, you should look at every situation only as fuel to get ahead. Yes, you might have been rejected by a girl. Yes, you might have lost your job. And yeah, your childhood might have actually been very bad. But this doesn't mean that you cannot be successful. If you give up and start feeling sorry for yourself, then nothing good is going to happen to you. But if you get up, dust yourself off and tell yourself that you are going to show the world one day how wrong they were about you, if you use that rage inside of you to build something great, then you, my friend, can be legendary. Now, starting Nike wasn't easy for Phil. In fact, it wasn't even called Nike back then. It was called the Blue Ribbon Company. They used to import shoes from Japan and sell it in the United States. And they had a lot of hardships on the way. And not just tiny hiccups, but devastating business losses. Their main suppliers stabbed them in the back. Their banks refused to give them loans, and on and on. But the main thing was, they kept going. They had many setbacks where Phil could have just said, "Well, I tried and I failed and now this is life." But no, he found a way. Which brings me to the next lesson. When your back is against the wall, you can either give up or you can break through. No matter what life throws at you, most of the times there is a solution to the problem. But the problem with most of us is that we quit too early. We get stuck in the negative self-hating loop where we tell ourselves that all of this is our fault. And because of this, we even forget to come up with a creative solution. And you know what? Nike's problems never even went away. They would solve one problem and another one would pop up. And as they kept growing and growing, the size of their problems did too. And this is what you need to remember about life. You are always going to have problems. The only thing that changes is the quality of your problems. See, problems are a universal thing and they will always be present in our lives. Hell, if there were no problems, then life would be pretty boring anyway. But as you grow in life and become more successful, the quality of your problems will change. Maybe before your problems were that you couldn't make enough money to eat food, later your problem could become that you got a flat tire on your Lamborghini. So don't try to run away from problems, embrace them as a part of life and look at every problem as an opportunity to grow. Something else that I noticed throughout the book was that even though Phil Knight was a billionaire, he never mentioned much about all the money he was earning. And that's because he says it very clearly in the book. He wasn't in this for the money. Sure, he needed the money to survive, but he was doing this because he believed in the movement. He believed in the company and what it stood for. And this is something that I've noticed with most of the really rich and successful people. They don't do what they do for the money, and paradoxically, they end up making a lot more money. This happens because the amount of hard work that it really takes to become successful would just seem insane to any rational human being. So if you're in it just for the money, then you're just not going to get there. I'll give you a small example. I know a lot of people who start YouTube channels because they think it can make them a lot of money, and almost all of them don't survive very long. Why is that? Because initially, it's very hard to make any money off of YouTube. You have to make countless videos without anyone even watching, and the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you love the thing that you're making videos about. This is why I've been able to keep uploading on this channel even when I had very less views, because I just loved making these videos and spreading these ideas to even one person, so it didn't even matter to me how many views I had or how much money I made. Anyway, back to Nike. Another thing that Phil Knight did superbly well, he built an amazing team. He figured out exactly where he needed to place his key employees, and in the beginning he only hired people who shared the same spirit as him. He hired other people who were as passionate as he was about running, and this is what helped them succeed. When everything was falling apart, his employees didn't leave him, they dug deep. That's because they all believed in the shared mission. They felt that sense of community. No matter what you want to achieve in your life, you're going to need other people's help to get it. A lot of people are very stubborn about the fact that they want to accomplish everything themselves, but that is just not practical. You have to realize that sometimes other people are going to be better than you, and that is okay. Focus on building a team where everyone complements each other's strengths and you make up for each other's weaknesses. This is an amazing book packed with insights into the billionaire's mind about how he created Nike. I highly recommend it. That's all for this video. I hope you learned something new in this video, and if you did, then please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.